Stanislav Petrov was born on September 7, 1939, in the village of Frentorp, Sweden. His early life was marked by the stark realities of wartime Europe. While the specifics of his childhood are relatively scarce in readily available public records, it's safe to assume the shadow of the Second World War, even in relatively neutral Sweden, cast a long influence on his formative years. This period undoubtedly shaped his worldview, instilling in him a deep awareness of global conflict and its potential for devastating consequences. The scarcity of detailed information about his family background, education, and early friendships underscores the need for further research into his personal life, a task that many historians have yet to fully undertake. What we do know, however, is that this seemingly ordinary upbringing laid the groundwork for an extraordinary moment in history. His path towards a career that would ultimately place him at the center of a global crisis began with his entry into the Soviet military. The precise details surrounding his recruitment and training remain somewhat elusive, but we can infer a rigorous process, given the sensitive nature of his future role in the Soviet air defense forces. The Cold War was at its height, a period of intense ideological conflict and a constant, underlying threat of nuclear annihilation. This context is crucial to understanding the weight of the decision Petrov would one day be forced to make. His training, undoubtedly, focused on the complex systems of early warning radar and the protocols for responding to potential nuclear attacks from the West. The sheer pressure of this responsibility, even before facing the crisis, must have been immense. The Soviet military, particularly its air defense branch, was a highly structured and hierarchical organization. Petrov's ascent through the ranks, while not explicitly documented in detail, speaks to his competence, dedication, and likely his loyalty to the Soviet regime. The Cold War demanded unwavering loyalty and absolute obedience, qualities that were presumably essential for advancement in the system. He would have undergone rigorous training in interpreting data, maintaining composure under pressure, and adhering to strict chain-of-command protocols. These were not just abstract concepts, they were life-or-death skills that could determine the fate of millions. The specific details of his personal life during this period are, unfortunately, largely unavailable. We lack concrete information about his marriage, his family life, or his relationships with colleagues. This lack of readily available personal information underscores the challenges faced by historians in piecing together a comprehensive biography of this pivotal figure. However, it's reasonable to assume that his life was largely dominated by his demanding career, the constant tension of the Cold War, and the immense responsibility entrusted to him. The year 1983 marked a turning point, not just in Petrov's life, but in the history of the world. On September 26th, he was on duty at the Serpukhov 15 early warning radar facility near Moscow. The facility was part of the Soviet Union's nuclear early warning system, designed to detect incoming ballistic missiles launched from the United States. The system was sophisticated for its time, but it was also prone to errors and malfunctions, a fact that adds another layer of complexity to the story. The tension in the bunker that night, with the threat of nuclear war hanging heavy in the air, must have been palpable. 30 Moscow time, the system registered an incoming missile launch from the United States. Not just one, but several. The alarms blared and the red lights flashed, signaling the imminent threat of a nuclear attack. The system indicated multiple warheads, seemingly launching from American soil, heading towards the Soviet Union. For Petrov, this wasn't an abstract scenario. This was the moment he had trained for, the moment that could trigger a devastating global conflict. According to Petrov's own account, he immediately faced an agonizing dilemma. The protocols were clear: report the attack immediately, triggering a retaliatory strike. Such a strike would almost certainly lead to a full-scale nuclear exchange, a scenario that could result in the annihilation of much of humanity. However, something didn't feel right. His experience and intuition told him that the readings were inconsistent, showing a number of anomalies that suggested a malfunction rather than an actual launch. The system, despite its complexity, was still susceptible to false positives. The tension must have been unbearable. He was alone, or nearly so, in the face of a potential global catastrophe. The fate of the world, or at least a significant portion of it, rested on his shoulders. His colleagues, though present, were not privy to the full context of the situation. The weight of the decision, the potential consequences of a wrong move, must have been almost unimaginable. Petrov, despite the immense pressure, defied protocol. He chose not to report the alert, effectively overriding the automated response system. He reasoned that a genuine first strike from the U.S. would involve far more missiles than the 5 detected. Furthermore, the trajectory and the lack of confirmation from other detection systems added to his skepticism. His decision, based on his gut feeling and his assessment of the available data, was a gamble, a calculated risk that defied orders and potentially saved the world from nuclear war. The minutes that followed must have been filled with agonizing uncertainty. He waited, watched, and hoped that his judgment was correct. Had he made a mistake? Had he condemned the Soviet Union and indeed the world to annihilation? The suspense must have been almost unbearable. Fortunately, his intuition proved correct. The alert was a false positive, a malfunction in the early warning system. The missiles never existed. The Soviet Union remained intact, and the world avoided a potentially catastrophic nuclear war. The aftermath of the incident was far from straightforward. Petrov's actions were never officially recognized or commended by the Soviet authorities. In fact, his decision was kept secret for decades. The potential ramifications of revealing the near miss were too significant, too politically damaging for the Soviet regime to acknowledge. Petrov's life continued, albeit with the weight of his secret decision hanging over him. He continued his service in the Soviet military, but the incident remained a private matter, a burden he carried alone. The lack of recognition, the secrecy surrounding the event, and the potential personal consequences of his actions are crucial points to consider. Petrov's bravery and his clear-headed judgment deserve to be celebrated, yet the context of his actions within the rigid Soviet system cannot be ignored. His act of defiance, while ultimately life-saving, was also a risk, a gamble that could have had devastating consequences for himself and for the Soviet Union. The years following the incident saw the continued deterioration of the Cold War, culminating in the eventual collapse of the Soviet Union. Petrov's role in avoiding a nuclear war remained unknown to the wider world, a secret confined to a small circle within the military establishment. His life continued, marked by a quiet dignity and a profound understanding of the fragility of peace. It was only years later, after the fall of the Soviet Union, that Petrov's story began to emerge. The information, once classified and hidden from public view, gradually became available, revealing the true extent of the danger averted and the extraordinary courage of the man who prevented it. The world finally learned about the man who, through a single, decisive act of defiance, potentially saved millions, perhaps billions of lives. The revelation of Petrov's actions sparked a wave of recognition and admiration. He became a symbol of courage, responsibility, and the importance of critical thinking in the face of extreme pressure. Awards and accolades followed, belated but nonetheless significant. The world finally acknowledged the debt it owed to this unassuming individual who had made a choice of such profound global importance. However, the recognition also brought challenges. The sudden fame and attention were a sharp contrast to his previous life of quiet anonymity. The weight of expectation, the constant reminders of the responsibility he had shouldered, must have been considerable. While he embraced the opportunity to share his story, to caution the world against the dangers of nuclear conflict, it also presented a new set of burdens. Despite the accolades and the recognition, Petrov remained a humble individual. He never sought personal glory or fame. His actions were driven by his sense of duty, his professional training, and his intuition. He simply did what he believed was right, even when it meant defying orders and risking his career. The story of Stanislav Petrov is not just a story of a single moment in time. It's a testament to the human capacity for courage, for critical thinking, and for making difficult choices under unimaginable pressure. It's a reminder of the fragility of peace and the ever-present danger of nuclear conflict. His legacy is not just about preventing a nuclear war. It's about the power of individual action, the importance of questioning authority, and the profound responsibility that comes with wielding immense power. The details of his later years, the specifics of his death, and the complete record of his personal life remain areas where further research is needed. However, the core narrative, a man who, in a single moment, made a decision that potentially saved the world, remains a powerful and enduring testament to the human spirit. His story serves as a cautionary tale, a reminder of the dangers of unchecked power, the importance of vigilance, and the ongoing need for international cooperation to prevent future catastrophes. The legacy of Stanislav Petrov is one of quiet heroism, a lesson in responsibility, and a powerful symbol of hope in a world still grappling with the shadow of nuclear annihilation. His story continues to resonate, a testament to the profound impact one person can have on the course of history, a legacy etched not in grand pronouncements, but in a single, life-saving no. It is a story that deserves to be told and retold, ensuring that the world never forgets the man who averted a global catastrophe with his unwavering judgment and courage. The full impact of his actions, the ripple effect of his no, continues to reverberate through the decades, a constant reminder of the fragility of peace and the immense responsibility that comes with power. The lessons learned from his experience are invaluable, a constant reminder of the need for caution, critical thinking, and the unwavering pursuit of peace in a world still threatened by the specter of nuclear war. His story should be a beacon of hope and a testament to the power of human courage and clear-headed decision-making in the face of overwhelming odds. His life, though marked by periods of obscurity and later, unexpected fame, stands as a testament to the profound impact a single individual can have on the fate of humanity. His simple act of defiance, his quiet refusal to succumb to panic, transformed him from an anonymous military officer into a global symbol of courage and prudence. The world continues to learn from his example, a lesson in responsibility, courage, and the unwavering pursuit of peace in a world that remains teetering on the brink. The legacy of Stanislav Petrov will continue to inspire future generations, a reminder that even in the darkest of times, a single act of defiance, a single no, can change the course of history.